Hi, I'm Shelley Wood. You might know me from shelleywood.com. This is my tiny sewing room where I make doll clothes sewing videos. This video will show you how to make a doll's blouse. It should fit 18-inch dolls. It will include a collar, long sleeves, and cuffs, and it's part of a Swedish traditional costume, which you can find on my website. All the patterns are free, so please go to shelleywood.com and you're going to download the following patterns. That would be pattern A, C, D, and F. Again, all of these patterns are free on shelleywood.com. Follow the directions on the patterns to cut out all the pieces shown here. Now don't freak out because I used embroidery to decorate my doll shirt, but that's optional. If you wish to decorate the collar, this is a good time to do so. I used a variation on the running stitch for mine. I embroidered 2 mirror image pieces of a doll's collar, leaving room for 1/4 inch seams. I did the same for the cuffs as well. If you don't like embroidery, Rick Rack does the same kind of thing. Stitch the bodice fronts and backs at the shoulder. You'll do this twice as the shirt will be lined. So you'll end up with 2 pieces that look like this. Stitch the decorated collars to the neck. Note how I've stopped sewing short of the edge. Later we'll attach the other piece of collar there. So now you have one piece that looks like this, and here's the same piece from the other side. Attach the non-decorative collars to the second bodice. Leave the seam allowance just like you did before. Lay the bodices one on top of the other. Keep right sides together. That means the pretty sides face each other. Begin attaching the 2 bodices where the collars meet. Sew along one collar's edge, down the side of the collar, making a neat crisp edge where the collar meets the back. And continue attaching at the back, just like you see here. Don't forget to seal the bottom as well. So on the backs you're going to want to sew across the bottom. Attach the other half of the collar and the back too. Now clip your seams just like you see me doing here. And invert. I like to use a chopstick to help me get those corners nice and tight. Clip, invert, and press those seams firmly. Fold the collar and whip stitch along the neckline. So here I am whip stitching along the neckline of the collar. This can help you kind of stabilize the collar so that it doesn't stick up, it kind of folds down naturally. If you're not familiar with the whip stitch, look for a link in the description. Before you go any further, I recommend that you try it on the doll to make sure that the collar really fits your doll's neck nicely. You can always make adjustments at this point. Sew along the shoulder seams for stability. I stitched along either side of the seam, but make sure you don't have any wrinkles, that's the key. Baste the armholes. This also adds stability. Note that the front bodice has no hem yet. Gather the sleeve bottom to match the cuff length. It helps to pin the cuff while I'm measuring my gathers. Sew the cuff to the sleeve and press that seam. Fold the cuff and hem it along the seam line. So I'm going to fold once and then a second time. Then I insert my needle inside between and use a whip stitch to close off that cuff. Here's how the inside of the sleeve looks, and this is what it looks like on the outside. We'll attach the sleeve, leaving an opening at the top. Before you begin to attach the sleeve, make sure the decorative edges are all facing out because you don't want to have those on the inside. Attach the sleeve to the bodice from the armpit to the shoulder. That way you can eventually gather it at the top. We do this on my other shirt tutorials too. Stop sewing before reaching the very top. Attach both sleeves, both sides of the sleeve this way, leaving a 2-finger opening between the shoulder and the sleeve. This allows plenty of room for gathering right at the top. Gather the sleeve where that opening is. Make sure your gathers are just the right length so that you can attach them there. It helps to pin before knotting your thread. Attach the gathered edge to the shoulder seam. Now your sleeve should look a bit puffy like you see here. You want to attach both sleeves just this way. So here's a little view of what our sleeve looks like so far. Fold and sew from cuff to armpit and then from armpit to base. Do this on both sides of your shirt. Now if you've seen some of my other shirt tutorials, you might remember that we stop shy of the very bottom of this side seam. So as you reach the edge, fold the bodice front's base inside of itself. So we've only sewn to about there, and then you stop and you fold the front, the very bottom of the front inside, and whip stitch across the base of the bodice front. Invert the garment and press the side seams. So if you didn't finish those side seams, you need to go back and finish them. Attach snaps and Velcro and try it on your doll. Doesn't she look happy? This shirt is part of a Swedish traditional outfit, and all of these patterns are free to download on my website, shelleywood.com. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching. If you like my videos and free patterns, please share them on your favorite social media platforms. It really helps my website grow if you spread the word.